In my work as a yoga teacher, I often talk with my students about problem areas in their body. The problem areas are consistent: tight hips and low back, tight hamstrings, tightness in the shoulders, which creates this rounded shoulder issue. Knowing a little bit about yoga anatomy can do a lot to increase the effectiveness in helping these problem areas. Many muscles in the body work in pairs. When one muscle contracts, the opposing muscle relaxes. And you can get a sense of this if you move your arm. When you bend the arm at the elbow, the bicep muscle contracts while the tricep muscle relaxes. They work as a team. Similarly, when you release the arm, the tricep muscle contracts and the bicep muscle relaxes. Often the issue we have in problem areas is that we're focusing on one of the pair and not its opposite. And this is where we get frustrated with a lack of progress. To help you experience this in your own body, we're going to focus in on a common muscle pair that contributes to rounded shoulders. Rounded shoulders, if I exaggerate a little bit in my own body, it looks a little bit like this. It relates to two muscles: a muscle in the side of the rib area called the serratus anterior, which actually pulls the scapulus forward and creates this rounded shoulder look. And the muscle in the middle of the shoulder blades, called the middle trapezius. You can feel these muscles in your own body. If you take a moment to bend your elbows and pull the elbows back and squeeze the shoulder blades together, the action right in between your shoulder blades, it's the action of the middle trapezius. If you do the reverse, release forward and create like a big bear hug, this action of drawing your scapulus forward, and you can see my shoulders round forward, that's the action of the serratus anterior contracting. So in this position, the trapezius contracts, the serratus anterior relaxes, and in this position, the serratus anterior contracts as the trapezius relaxes. To get the shoulders in a more neutral position, we have to work out the excess tension in the serratus anterior and learn how to strengthen through the trapezius. We'll now go through a short sequence to help work with that. We'll begin in crocodile pose. Crocodile pose, you lay on your belly, stack your forearms, and let the feet separate wide enough that you feel a nice release down the whole lower body. As you settle in, you'll notice yourself breathing, the sensation of the belly and the lower back expanding as you breathe in, and you feel that nice release as you breathe out. Since our focus is in the shoulder area, bring your attention there. See if you can feel that space right in between your shoulder blades. That's the area of the middle trapezius. Just the act of bringing awareness there might begin to relax some tension. Then your awareness will move to the side ribs, the area of the serratus anterior, letting the inhale create a little bit of expansion there, and the exhale allows it to release. Now use your hands for support, roll over onto your back, and we'll do a warm-up to warm up this whole shoulder area. As you come onto your back, take a moment to hug the knees into the chest and rock a few times from side to side. Now, roll over onto the right side of your body, and you're going to extend the right arm out. We're going to do a twist. Right arm extends out, and then you roll your torso completely over to stack your left hand over the right hand. On an inhale, you'll move the left arm and make a big arc overhead. If you need to, bend your elbow. It takes you into a twist. Then you exhale, pull your knees to your belly, roll over onto the other side, bring the right arm across your torso, and stack the palms. Continue this a couple more times. Inhale, sweep the arm overhead. Exhale, knees to the belly and roll to the other side. And then inhale again, arm overhead. Try this one more time on each side. As that arm goes overhead, you're starting to stretch out the muscles of the serratus in those side ribs and warm up the action in the trapezius. Last time on this second side. Return your torso back to the floor, and you can bring your knees back into center. Now, the challenge in rounded shoulders is that the serratus anterior gets tight. I mean, for most of us, it's been tight for a long period of time. So we're going to do a passive stretch that helps open up the grip in that muscle. What you'll do is take a blanket. You can either work with the blanket folded in a rectangle, or for a little bit more opening, you're going to roll the blanket. And we're going to lay on this blanket roll so the spine rests along the blanket. Let's go ahead and press yourself upright. You'll place the folded edge of the blanket maybe an inch or so from the base of the sacrum. Notice the buttocks are on the floor, and then go ahead and lay back. Center that blanket on your spine. If there's any discomfort in the neck area, you may need to place another blanket or cushion underneath. Or even if your blanket roll is long enough, you can fold the blanket roll. You can lift your head up and give yourself a little bit of support. Separate your feet a little bit wider than your hips and let the knees prop together. Turn the palms out. And you can sense the shoulder blades starting to relax along the sides of that blanket roll. We want to take the time to let the back body completely surrender into the blanket. So feel that, feel the back of the head, and then trace your awareness down the length of your spine so that the upper arm bones begin to feel heavy. Another option is to bring your elbows a little bit further towards your head and actually bend your elbows and work in more of a goalpost position. You can adjust the positioning of the elbows to your own comfort level. If you get into a place that feels really tight or twingy, you want to back off, bring the arms a little bit lower. This area of the body can be very tight for some of us, and we need to work gradually to help soften it up. Eyes are closed. We'll take a number of breaths here. Inhale, you feel the belly rise. And exhale, you feel the belly lower. Have this sense of the back of the body simply draping over the blanket, softening through the side ribs, through the front of the chest, and through the armpit area. Last couple breaths. Then you'll bring your feet closer together, roll over onto your side to roll off the blanket, and then roll onto your back to bring your knees into your chest. Now make your way to table pose. Roll over onto onto your side and then come to all fours. So we'll do just a couple cat curls to warm up a little more through the spine. You'll exhale, draw your belly in, arch through the back. Inhale and release in the opposite direction. See if you can feel one vertebrae at a time move in both directions. 2 more cat curls. Exhale and arch. Inhale and release. Now come back to table pose. We're going to get a good feel for this action through the trapezius muscle and the serratus. You'll exhale and squeeze your shoulder blades together. If I had my hand on your back, it'd be like you could squeeze my fingers in between the shoulder blades. So squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then do the opposite. Allow those shoulder blades to spread apart. These are the scapulas. And see if you can bring the upper spine up a little bit towards the ceiling. And then try that again. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then reverse it. And again, we'll try this a number of times. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. So this is the trapezius contracting, the serratus relaxes, and the opposite is when the shoulder blades come apart, that's the serratus contracting and the trapezius releasing. 2 more. This area tends to get pretty stuck if you haven't done some focused work to warm these muscles up. Good. Now shift the knees back about 6 inches, curl your toes under, and lift into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog continues to help the trapezius strengthen and open up the front of the armpit area and the front of the chest. Remember in your downward dog to press through the corners of the palms, so especially this pad of the index finger. We have the upper arm squeezing towards the ears, belly draws in, and we're lifting through the sit bones. If you're feeling a pull in your lower back, just bend your knees a little bit. Bend the knees slightly. Looking towards your hands, we're going to walk the feet forward in between the hands and come up to standing. Now we'll do some arm swings that get at the serratus and the trapezius. Make a gentle fist with your hands and you'll start swinging the arms back and forth. To get a little more active in the trapezius area, you'll alternate swinging the arms straight and then bend your elbows and pull straight back. When the elbows are bent, it gets a little bit more into the trapezius, and you can feel that. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Now, if you change it slightly, you'll stay with the bent elbows and just go back and forth with the elbows bent and straight. And remember that bear hug idea we had with the serratus. You're going to come forward and take one forearm over the other and then squeeze back and the other forearm. Squeeze, release. Feel these two muscles working together. Trapezius squeezes the shoulder blades. Serratus brings those arms forward. Squeeze and release. We'll do 2 more. And then let your hands rest at your sides. And take a moment and pause. Notice how your shoulders feel compared to when we started. When we can get a nice balance between these two muscles, the shoulders will start to sit in a more neutral position. We'll feel more freer in the chest and open in the breath. On an inhale, turn your palms out. Raise your arms up overhead. We're going to exhale, forward fold, and step back into downward facing dog. Notice again, is there a little more ease through the side ribs, through the back of the shoulders? It allows the neck to relax, the jaw to relax. On an exhale, drop to your knees. You can bring your forearms to the floor, and our last posture we'll work with is Cobra, a version of Cobra. So you can slide onto the belly, slide your thumbs down next to your low ribs, firm the legs, roll the buttocks together, press the pubic bone down, and we'll start with a warm-up that works with the breath. You inhale, stretch out the belly, lift through the shoulders, keep those elbows hugged in and squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, exhale and lower, and turn your head to the right. And we'll continue that with our breath. Inhale, look at the floor, lift, strengthening the trapezius, exhale, lower, and turn to the left. Do 2 more of those. Inhale and lift, exhale, lower, and last one. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Now inhale into Cobra, and let's hold there. We'll take a number of breaths. This action of the elbows coming close to the torso, and then the shoulder blade squeeze continues to strengthen the middle trapezius and stretch out that serratus anterior, getting these shoulders to find a more neutral place. Back of the neck is long, chin comes slightly towards the throat. Keep the tailbone moving towards your heels and the heels pressed down. On an exhale, lower down and come on back to crocodile pose where we started. Let your awareness move into your upper back, into your shoulders and the front of the chest. Become aware of the change, the transformation we've created. Inhale and fill up that space with your awareness. Exhale, let the whole body surrender and release into the floor. Use your hands for support. Roll over onto your back. We'll finish up with the bridge pose and a short relaxation. Bridge pose also helps reinforce this action of proper position of the shoulder blades to contract the trapezius and open the serratus. To help you get that action a little more solid in your body, try coming into bridge pose first with your, from this position, bend your elbows to 90 degrees and let your fingertips come up. You're going to hug your elbows right next to your ribs. Before we come into bridge, take a moment to squeeze the shoulder blades together, the action we've been working with. Then you can let the elbows release. Draw the low belly in, press the low back down, and start to lift into bridge. Once you are in your raised position, clasp the hands underneath you. Keep bringing the shoulder blades together. And we'll breathe here. In the pelvis, we have the pubic bone moving towards the navel. This nice opening through the front of the chest and the side ribs, and the shoulder blades support the back of the neck. If you try this with your eyes closed, you can sense into your breathing, the belly rising on the inhale and releasing on the exhale. And on your next exhale, release the hands, lower the spine down. Before you move, take a moment to feel the whole back body settle. You'll feel the muscles in the back of the body release. And then we'll take both knees into the chest and let the knees rock from side to side. Extend the legs out, resting in Shavasana. If you have any discomfort in the neck, you can take your folded blanket and place just a little bit of support under the head. It's important at the end of any asana practice to take some time in Shavasana. It allows your nervous system and your energetic system to assimilate the changes. So notice the body settling into the floor. Eyes are closed. Back of the body surrendering through the head, the shoulders, the entire length of the spine, the buttocks, and the length of the legs. Let your awareness move to your breathing, feeling the belly rise on the inhale and the belly lower on the exhale. And we'll gradually scan the body, helping to release any remaining muscle tension. Your awareness starts at the top of your head, relaxing completely through the head and the face. Soften through the jaw and down the length of the throat. Rest the shoulders, the arms, all the way to the fingertips. From the fingertips, move your attention back through the arms, resting your attention into the chest, softening the lungs and the heart. Release the belly. Release through the pelvis. Can you feel the buttocks relax, the inner thighs, the outer thighs, the knees, the calves and the shins, the ankles and the feet? Enjoying the experience of resting and breathing. Stilling through the feet and the legs, through the pelvis, the abdomen, stilling through the arms, the shoulders, the throat, and the face. To transition, bring your attention to your hands and feet, wiggling the fingers and the toes, and simply bend the knees so you can roll over onto your side. Taking a few moments there to let the effects of the practice absorb, take root, and we'll close by pressing ourselves upright. Just take a moment to center yourself. You can sit with the legs crossed, the eyes closed, and bring the hands to the heart. Namaste.